Hi everyone, in this video I want to show you my idea about the Bitcoin chart right now. When money is involved, sometimes it's natural to get a bit of a mental block and kind of look at the chart and get confused about where we are, where we're coming from, where we're going, because of that psychological element that money is important to us. And in that way, it's a bit difficult to understand the current situation we're dealing with. And that is why I find it useful to just find another situation in life which is very similar to what we're dealing with on the Bitcoin charts right now. So I'm going to tell you a story about someone who is very similar to Bitcoin for the past 2 months. So the guy comes from a poor family, poor background, good-looking guy, but very ambitious. He looks kind of like a model, and he really wants to make it in the social circles of models. He wants to marry a model, and he wants to upgrade his life, to live a rich lifestyle, right? So what happens is the guy goes to a modeling show and he manages to chat up a model there, and he manages to take her to bed with him, right? That's here. And he takes her to bed. She comes with him the next day. They exchange some polite niceties, and then she leaves. She has to go somewhere else in Milan or Paris or anything of that kind. And next thing, the guy is rejected back to his ordinary life. So what happens is this crossing here of the resistance, all he managed to achieve is go to the party. He got a pass for the party. So that is how far he managed to succeed, and managed even to get a one-night stand. Right? That's as far as he didn't manage to bring here. He didn't manage to invite her for another date. Probably he invited her, but she didn't accept. He didn't manage to get another date. He didn't manage to start a relationship with her. None of that. There was no building on the support here. All it was is just crossing the resistance quickly, which happens in our lives quite often. I remember a few years ago, a very famous DJ was kind of interested in me, and I knew all he wanted was a one-night stand. That was the whole game, was about that. Because, come on, all of those chicks are throwing themselves at him. Why would he just want to stick with one woman at that young age? So common sense that in this situation here, the most the person will get is a one-night stand, and that's it. They will get rejected, because some people understand resistance, that you go to the party and you don't get in. The security stop you right there on the door and you don't manage to get to the party. And some people understand resistance in that way. Exactly what we're dealing today. Bitcoin is exactly on the 2-year resistance. This is the 2-year resistance from the previous 80Hs in December and in January. So Bitcoin is frozen here all day. The guy is now at party number 3. And he's not even allowed to get into the party. Something has happened, because he shagged that model, the model rejected him, and then it took him 2 weeks to recover mentally and psychologically to make another attempt to go to another party. So look, that was the 23rd of May, and this was the 5th of June, when he finally found some psychological support. So that is 23rd plus, so that is 8 plus 15, that's 13 days, right? And then again he makes an approach to go to another party. He finds another model here. He gets another one-night stand, but guess what? The second model doesn't even want to hang around the next day. The previous model hung around with him for 3 days after that, above the resistance, almost kind of working here to make the resistance support. She gave him hopes that maybe there is a chance of a relationship. This one was a lot more brutal. This one didn't hang around at all. After the one-night stand, she headed away and left him on his own devices. And he experienced a much more brutal rejection of this attempt here to break the resistance than the previous attempt. This time around, it took him 12 days. From the 10th of June to 22nd of June is 12 days, a day less, to find some emotional support. But naturally, because the second model rejected him a lot more brutally, she didn't even hang around with him the next day. And it was a more brutal situation here. Naturally, he dipped to much lower level of support. His mental health got disturbed, he got depressed, or maybe got drunk, maybe he smoked some drugs or something, but he dipped to lower level of support because of this worse history. This is a story of things worsening in the ambition to cross the resistance. And he collected himself mentally, and finally now he is making his next approach. So let's compare this candle number 3 here to the previous candle number 3. So this candle number 3, is it stronger than this candle number 3 here? And is it stronger than this candle number 3 here? Look at this. With this candle number 3, he was already above resistance. But here, because the support was much lower, he's gonna need a lot more pumping to go above the resistance. So a lot more work needs to be done just to cross the resistance, let alone build upon the resistance and try to turn the resistance into support. That will take some work, and definitely it's very unlikely that it will come after such a low level of support here, and when so much more sweating now needs to be done in order to even cross the resistance. This time he's not even allowed in the party, and that is a very brutal rejection. So we'll see what happens tomorrow, the 26th. I shared with you last time we have bullish aspects tomorrow, 26th of June. I'm recording this video on the 25th of June at 23:23 actually, exactly. Which is a bearish number, by the way. Number 23 is a very bearish number. But anyway, we're going to see what is going to happen. At the moment, it doesn't look optimistic, but we'll see what happens tomorrow, 26th. We see what happens on the 28th. Remember, I showed you we have two trines on 28th, which is a lot of bullish aspects in one day to happen between planets, to have whole two trines. So my idea is that if we are going to get any pumps, those pumps will be the 28th, by the 28th, because after that it gets more unlikely. It weakens, the astrology weakens after the 28th of June for some time. So he's got a very big job to do. That's one thing I wanted to cover, that it's actually here, we are actually in a very bad mental and emotional resistance. The guy is, not we don't care. I mean, I know that I know the months when Bitcoin will be bullish, so I'm really not fussed about these down moments and this and that. I'm observing it in a completely kind of neutral way. But I'm passionate when I see a lot of nonsense being discussed on Twitter. People saying next ATH, next ATH, and I'm like, well, hold on, what's the big deal? What's the big deal if we do a next ATH on 28th of June? Just you're gonna get another rejection after that, because you don't have here any foundation to be building on the resistance and turning it into support. And as a Taurus, that's what I want to know. So I'd rather be with a poorer guy, but somebody who is a long-term material, and we build things together on the resistance. We turn resistances into support. It will take longer, of course, not as fast as if you get married to a rich guy. But do you see the sadness here when the resistance is approached without preparation, and when it's just a chancing, it just, this is a fake out. It's not sustainable. Because if it was sustainable, it would have stayed above the resistance. Look how long it takes. It takes it 2 weeks after that of rejection before it stops. So my point is that even if we get another ATH here on by the 28th, it's actually worse for Bitcoin, because then it will get rejected again, and then we're going to be on a downtrend much longer. Exactly how we got screwed in January. There was no need for that second top there on the 20th of January. That's what sent us on a very long downtrend. We were much better off without that top. So now, why are people so excited that we're heading towards another ATH is beyond me. Can they not think about consequences, that after every top follows a long period after that of retracement? Even if it's not a correction, it's still gonna be a retracement. So why everyone's so keen to get this new ATH is like exactly like this guy who just, in a way, his situation is so hopeless. He feels so hopeless that he will ever be able to find the woman of a higher class that he wants, that he's actually happy just to strike a one-night stand. That's what makes him happy. So are you guys part of those kind of mentalities that all you want is really to crash the party and just fuck one model for the night, and you consider that a success of your life? I'm sure not you who are watching the video, but I'm talking about those idiots on Twitter who are constantly chasing after those ATH, exactly the same way this guy is constantly chasing after a model, constantly chasing after a woman who is above his station, instead of just settling down with a nice girl who has a good job or has a good career, someone who is serious and who can play the long-term game. He's not interested in that. He wants something a lot more ambitious and a lot above his station. So this is the game that we are watching right now, and this is now becoming very easy to understand that the situation is quite hopeless right now, because this is not in, we need now, as soon as possible, we need a double bottom if we want a rally. For as long as they're doing these shenanigans, going to parties, crashing parties, fucking models or high class chicks or anything like that, for as long as they're doing that, these guys will be unhappy. They actually don't know what makes them happy. What makes them happy is a good quality woman who just has a normal job and she's a good person. That's more than enough in life. So for as long as they're pumping like this, it's really bad. Where it should be going down. So this is my level of, this is my next day, the 29th of June. I've got it as a bottom. If we manage to make a bottom on 29th of June, if we manage to make a double bottom on 29th of June, or a higher low, but it needs to be low in order to work, then we're heading for a rally. But not if we don't make that bottom on 29th of June. Not if the guy keeps crashing the party. That is a lost soul. It's a pointless energy. It's completely misdirected energy. So it's not gonna succeed in the long term. We are watching a very sad situation now where it's not a long-term play what we're watching here. Not with this, not at this resistance here. We're just so close to resistance. This is a 2-year resistance, and the guy wants from a lower high and from a lower low. The guy wants to smash this resistance and then does a rally as well. A lot of people now are forecasting a rally that is gonna happen. So we do an ATH, and then from there on we do a rally. Hold on, it actually doesn't work like that, because we don't have the structure. We need a double bottom, because here this situation is worse than this situation. If it was the other way around, if this situation was second and this situation was first, then yes, I'll be very bullish. But not if this situation is a lot worse and the rejection here is a lot more brutal than the rejection here. This is a 2-year support. Good luck breaking this support now in the middle of the summer when volume is very low. How are you gonna break this support in the middle of the summer on a low volume when most of the institutions are actually on holidays? And we have planets coming retrograde. By the way, I need to backtest that Saturn retrograde, because like Pluto retrograde is bullish, so I need to backtest it. I'll backtest Saturn retrograde very soon, and then I'll make another video to tell you what I expect when Saturn turns retrograde in the next 10 days. But for now, I remain bearish, and I really don't care. Even if they make the ATH, I really don't see how that can be a point of celebration. It's actually going to be disastrous. We're going to be on a very long downtrend again after that if we make that ATH. To build this support here, a lot of things need to be in place in the structure to turn this resistance into a support. This is a 2-year resistance. It's not that easy to turn it into support. And step number 1 to do that is make a double bottom. That will be what is necessary, and then you cross the resistance very comfortably and you start building on the resistance. For now, there is no such evidence ever made. Whenever that resistance has been crossed, it's always led to a disaster after that, every single time. So I just wanted to share my opinion, everyone, and I will do the back testing of Saturn retrograde, and then I'll tell you what the results from that are. Bye for now.